Check, check. 1, 2. Is it happening again? Stream City. All right. I think so. Output. Change this to 8,000. Apply. Okay. Did that just for a kick, honestly. Are we doing great? Are we doing amazing? Because it's going to be good. Reactoins or reactions? I think we're doing the reactions. Oh, yeah. No, I got to change. I'm sorry. I got to stop it. I got to redo it. I messed up something. Or did I? Maybe I could change it now. Bam, I could change it. I don't need to do anything. We're going to keep it live. There we go. That's better. Errors. So like every time I go live, there's like 100,000 things I got to do. But it's all right. Just got to do them. And once I do them, they're done. Which is the good part. And we're actually streaming on Facebook too, for the first time ever. And I think all of the Facebook chats are going to jump in here as well. So this is going to be very fun. Gonna get that Facebook vibe in here. Oh, Facebook. Oh, Facebook. Everybody loves you, Facebook. No matter what anyone says, they just love you. Yeah, that's great. I gotta pull up the chat. Bam. I gotta close it and reopen it. I gotta turn up the music while we're doing this, just because might as well. We need the music to amp us up. That's what we need. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I hope it's working. If my phone's batteryless, how am I going to see what's on my phone? Come on, yo, come on. Okay, sound is working. Stoked about the sound. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Tara Matthews, thank you. Thank you. How are you? How are you? Good to see y'all. Nice. Oh, we're all set up. That was nice. That was quick. That was easy. All right, this music's loud. Let's bring it down a notch. Check, check, 1, 2. Yeah. All right. It's good. All right, let's get back to it. We had a little intermission, and let's see what's happening over here. U.S. fighter pilots brainwashed that Iranians happily massacred by F-15s.
You're going to be picked up by somebody who is going to turn you over to the Iranian, forces that are going to use you and capture you, or is the population happy that you're there and want to help you? That we don't know. And so anybody that gets shot down over that space, you're going to be picked up by somebody who is going to turn you over to the Iranian, force.
Are the Iranians going to like you if you're in the military, dude? What is this woman talking about? Oh, Tara Matthews is fantastic. We are set, y'all. We are set. She's fantastic.
That are going to use you and capture you, or is the population happy that you're there and want to help you? That we don't know. And so anybody that gets shot down over that space, you're going to be picked up by somebody who is going to turn you over to the Iranian, forces that are going to use you and capture you, or is the population happy that you're there and want to help you?
Okay. What do you think, chat? What do you think? Come on. Yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? You're just flying an airplane. Come by. Have some Iranian tea. Some Iranian almonds. Do you want a massage? We give them great massages. The best massages in the world. Come on. Enjoy it. I don't know about that.
We have a commander-in-chief who appreciates and comforted, however, slightly by the fact that we have a commander-in-chief who appreciates and supports our military. I was asked the other day what fills in the gap between facts for me in this situation, and what fills in the gap is my faith in our commander-in-chief, the duly elected representative of the people that he has prioritized, given voice back, given grace back, given priority back to the safety and security of our soldiers. And being a family member of someone who deploys under this commander-in-chief, it feels a whole lot different than it did under the last one. And I know that many share my confidence in this commander-in-chief, in the Secretary of War, to prioritize the safety of our military, including getting back those pilots safely.
All right, let's bring back...
Getting that... They need to bring back those pilots, 100%. So we have the perspective from RT again.
When President Trump took action to take on Iran, for 50 years, presidents have talked about doing this. And he's the first one to do it.
Tara, I did not see them celebrate. I did not. But that would be cool to see.
And face the scrutiny of instant gratification. Everyone wants to know, is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Give us a timeline. But he understood that it was going to take risk, and it was going to take some short-term hardships for a longer-term gain for our country, for my 3 boys' future, certainly. So I think this just shows that freedom is not free, and things have to be fought for.
Can reach a top speed of Mach 2.5, 1,650 miles per hour. My goodness.
And earned, and we have the best.
Rakeem Winter, how you doing? Thank you for joining in on the chat, buddy. How many Iranians want to bring down their regime these days? Great question. Light it up in the chat. Any Iranians in the chat tonight, today, right now?
In the brightest in this country that are prepared. You think of those going in to rescue these pilots, they're trained, highly trained, the most trained people in the world to take this on. So my thoughts and prayers are with them. And this is the greatest country in the world, but it doesn't come without a cost.
Absolutely. Everything comes with a cost. 100%. This is something I definitely wanted to see for a while. And I wonder how it's going to resonate with y'all.
You just made a...
How's that frame? Big. B-I-G. There's some aggression happening over here. A lot of aggression.
A blood libel against the Jewish state. Dresden.
A blood libel? Blood libel meaning. Blood libel or ritual murder libel. Also, blood accusation is an anti-Semitic trope which falsely accuses Jews of murdering Christians in order to use their blood in the performance of religious rituals. He used that word against Candace Owens.
We can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this.
Over
And
two
this
nights.
gets into,
I am
I'm sorry.
asking you.
Look, prior to October 7th, I don't think many people were engaged with what is happening in Israel. You know, we kind of all said the same thing. Israel is our friend and ally.
Okay. Okay.
I count myself among those people.
Okay. Candace is definitely on board with Israel and considering Israel to be an ally before October 7th.
Post October 7th, the world, and especially I would say Zionists in media, were demanding that we all pay attention. And when we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered.
18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered? Where was this?
You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza.
In Gaza? She said 18,000. More than 50,000 children killed or injured in Gaza. Will AH956. Thank you for joining in on the chat. Need that information. That is wild. Everybody, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you subscribe, like, turn on notifications. It helps. Thank you so much.
Then were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza.
How much more than what?
With the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza than were.
More explosives dropped on Gaza than in Hiroshima? Oh my gosh, dude.
Were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly.
And Candace Owens, she made an incorrect statement. She said 18,000. There's more than 50,000. Allegedly.
Dense population, and this is, by the way, according to Haaretz, that 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry. And here's what I would like to.
Instead of letting money go, they made people work. JDEC 55-3. Thank you for your chat, buddy.
To say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness.
Oh my gosh. dropping scripture. What do you think about his, how's he feeling right now? How's he just feeling? It's over 100,000, latest figure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is from 5 days ago. You don't know what can happen in 5 days.
For light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
That's kind of aggressive. I don't know. Like, is he the one that's doing this, or what's the deal?
Fact that you would try to say I am Jewish and this is what I believe, and do and say the things that you are doing. People can see and hear evil, and what you are doing right now is an act of evil. The lies that you are telling, not just on me, but also on my
Oh, is this that guy who runs that P0 RN business? Oh my gosh. I've seen that video. I've seen it. They're like selling those S3X toys and all those types of things. What? This is the dude? Oh my God. Oh my God, dude.
my family members are a good example for the world to
who has been involved in two distinct adult related ventures. His family, Cause Hair, S3X shop, and the ownership of Pizza Hub, whatever, by another. Opened a boutique S3X shop in Tel Aviv and later Jerusalem, selling kosher adult like things that move a lot really quickly, things that are slippery, and things that are whatever for married couples. That's good for married couples. That's good. Promoted the business as a way to reclaim intimacy with values. Selling products that adhere to the law and avoiding items deemed too phallic or painful. Okay. Well, I guess like if it's, I can't really judge anyone to if it helps. If it's designed to help married couples, that's great. But still, given, I don't know, that's the culture, I guess.
see what we are referring to when we call something radical Zionism.
Okay, Rabbi Shmuley.
Okay, and
if you knew his story, you would agree. He's a propagandist. Money is not bad, but treating people like money is, for sure. W in the chat for that. Why is the U.S. tied at the hip with Israel? Man, seriously, can you answer that question?
okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about my being demonic. This is a tool.
He's trying to say ad hominem. A fallacious objection to an argument or factual claim by appealing to a characteristic or belief of the person making the argument or claim rather than by addressing the substance of the argument or producing evidence against a claim. An attempt to argue against an opponent's idea by discrediting the opponent himself. So it's a personal attack, not an attack on this person's idea.
Against one debate.
Okay, Rabbi Shmuley.
Okay, and okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about my being demonic. This is a tool against one debate.
I'm trying to understand what this guy is saying, man. It seems like he's saying partial words. Oh, Barry, that Pollock was delicious. Nice, dude. Nice. I'm stoked for you. I'm happy that you liked it, man. That's good, dude. Blackmail and end time theology both play roles in America's chains to that. Yeah. Oh, Will AH dropping some knowledge, dude. Y'all better like and subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're getting knowledge from Will AH956 in the chat.
I expected that.
It's not a 2 against 1 debate.
And I will, excuse me, no, it's a 2 against 1
You've
debate.
You've made no attempt to answer my question.
No. Piers,
Candace,
let me
Candace
speak.
has been trying to answer my question.
Candace just said...
All right, so thus far, he's not answering questions. She's trying to answer Piers' questions. It seems like Piers is enjoying this. If you look at his face, he's completely enjoying this.
You're not.
Candace just said, Candace, filth, demonic. There's nothing ad hominem about that. You are correct. You're right, Piers. Candace Owens just said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Hiroshima. Hiroshima was an atomic bomb, Candace.
Yeah. That's deep statics. I don't even want to read that, bro. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Oh my gosh. Terry, Piers is being the moderator. I guess he's asking both of them questions, and this is getting gnarly. Very gnarly. Candace is just going in. She's like not holding anything back. First, Candace loves the man, and then she's just attacking everything he's standing for, allegedly.
You know, why don't you just read Wikipedia? Israel has nuclear weapons. They've never used them, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Now let's look at Israel's justified defense. Israel admits, and even Hamas admits, to a 1-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio.
That's wild. Civilian is a person that doesn't have a gun, and a combatant is someone who's in the military that has a gun, to put it plain and simple. Yeah, Rakeem, I don't know what they're talking about as far as the body count. I think Candace was talking since October 7th. I don't actually know. GFC Woodchipper has joined the chat. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? He finds it pathetic that America treats its politicians like celebrities. They are the help. They should be the help, but some of these politicians are hilarious. Yeah. Candace doesn't look too amused. I think she's just trying to listen and just figuring out what's next, because they're under pressure here. I think they're under a time crunch, and they just want to get those jabs and hooks and punches in.
Of civilian casualties, which is a tragedy. It shouldn't even be.
Unfortunately, statics for sure.
But remember, Hamas fires their rockets from nurseries. The United States and Afghanistan had a 4-to-1 ratio of civilians murdered for every one combatant. In the Korean War, it was 5-to-1. In Iraq, it was at least 2-to-1. Israel has the lowest per capita ratio of combatants to civilians.
Ratio of combatants to civilians in the last 5 wars. Based on the provided research, civilian combatant casualty very significant conflict. Let's see, Korean War 2-to-1, Vietnam War 2-to-1, Gulf War 7-to-1, Iraq War 4.5-to-1, wars against ISIS Syria 3-to-2. Okay, so note, the search context also highlights significant disputes regarding the Gaza War 23-24, where estimates range from a combatant to civilian ratio of 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 14. Wait, that's what Hamas says, and then some analysis suggesting a ratio of 1-to-1 lower for Israel. So it's either 1 of 14 or 1 of 1. So either he's not being accurate, or he just doesn't have his facts, or he is being accurate. Those are the three options. What do you think, chat? Is he being accurate?
Candace should acknowledge that. That is what we call a fact.
But you should also, okay, but hang on. You should also acknowledge then that there is a unique demographic in Gaza where of the 2 million people who live there, half of them are under 18. So that's a very different demographic to any of.
Half of them are under 18. So 1 million of them. My goodness. Gaza looks like moon craters. That might even be an understatement. I ain't no fan of Islamics, but there are laws of war. The UN is useless. We all see this.
The other scenarios you're talking about. That is what's caused so much international opprobrium against Israel, is the fact that so many children, pro rata in the civilian death count, have been killed. It's
heavy situation, heavy situation. Zionism is not a religion, it's a political philosophy, and when you study their politics, you will clearly understand what they want from Will A. Yeah, I've heard some things about Zionism, and you know, it's always good to see what's true and what's not true. It's hard to find those accuracies like that. He just said 1 to 1, and then this website said 1 to 14. So what's actually the truth?
It's that people are so exercised about, and rightly, because what's happened here is obvious. Hamas, yes, they've embedded themselves in civilian territory. Yes, they built all these tunnels. None of these things are to be disputed. But
yeah, they put themselves in like hospitals and nurseries and those types of things. Schools shouldn't be doing that because they're using innocent civilians as human shields, essentially.
Problem with going after Hamas,
if it is accurate,
in the way that Israel has been doing, is that the collateral damage, as they would put it, to so many thousands of children has now tested the patience of the world to a degree that vast quantities of the world are against it and want this to stop. That's the reality.
But let's remember, Pierce, your parents are part of the greatest generation. Winston Churchill was told by the Americans, don't bomb German cities, Hamburg, Dresden, etc. at night. You can't see what you're bombing. Do what we Americans have, which is precision daytime bombing. And Churchill said, no, my pilots are more important. We need the RAF.
All right.
And he...
That's funny you say that. My TikTok was getting like 170 views and 180 like wild. And then once I played one video when I was reacting to the Z word, I guess I got to say it that way, it went down to 0 and like 1 every 5 minutes. I was like, what in the world just happened? I can't. So I'm like, I don't stream any politics on TikTok at all. If I do TikTok, it's like word definitions and kind of more educational stuff. So yeah, Terry has a point there. Freedom of speech in America, is it still valid? And Terry, if you can differentiate between those three that you said, because I really don't know the difference.
Flattened German cities, and he is considered today the greatest British statesman of the 20th century.
Gurray TV, thank you for joining in on the chat. What do you mean? Which part?
By the way, the flattening of cities like Dresden was widely condemned at the time, including by many people in Britain, and led to the establishment of the Geneva Conventions.
Dresden was Dresden was the last month of the war. But before...
By the way, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every day of 2026.
Or that Hamburg and everything else was not
condemned. It led to the establishment of the Geneva Convention after World War II, specifically to stop that kind of thing happening again. So I'm glad.
Geneva Convention after World War II. Geneva Convention of 1949 were adopted on August 1949 to update previous treaties and address the atrocities of the conflict, notably adding a new fourth convention specifically for civilians. These 4 treaties, which came into effect in 1950, replaced and expanded upon the 1864-1906 conventions to establish comprehensive legal standards for the treatment of the wounded, sick, shipwrecked, prisoners of war, and non-combatant populations. So according to this, what happens with those prisoners of war that are currently in... Oh man. Does this apply to the prisoners of war in Iran and in Israel? Man.
Glad you raised that example. Candice, you've got over 3 minutes.
So do you condemn Winston Churchill as a war criminal for Dresden?
No,
Yes
absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
No.
Why not? You just said that it was wrong.
I actually
do
was
you
going
condemn
to. I was
Winston
actually going
Churchill
to say
as
the
a
exact
war
same
criminal for
thing.
Dresden?
Well,
Please, you said
okay,
not, but
well,
why?
If you're
I
both going to
think
ask me
you've
the
had a
same
lot of
question,
time
let
to
me be
speak.
clear. Winston Churchill was not a war criminal, right? But some of the ways that we...
Why not? He
because
bombed Dresden and killed 25,000 people.
Yeah, he also saved the world from Adolf Hitler and the Nazis.
Oh, he saved the world. So Israel's saving the Middle East from Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Iran.
But it's not, though.
Hezbollah.
Israel's not doing that.
Thank you for answering my question.
Well,
case closed.
All right, let me go to Candice. Look,
If I could just interject here, just to respond to that.
Candice is going to bring something. She wasn't too happy about that.
I was going to say exactly what you said, Piers. Like, Dresden was considered a Holocaust. It was, in fact.
Iran doesn't have to follow the Geneva Convention? What for? They're not, like, involved? Yes, Iran is legally bound to follow the Geneva Conventions. The Islamic Republic of Iran joined the 1949 Conventions, the year of their inception, and is a signatory to these treaties. So maybe those pilots are okay.
A war crime, and there should be debates about what happened in Dresden. It was absolutely horrific that a bunch of Christians were skipping off, on the eve of Ash Wednesday, and then they were quite literally reduced to ashes. It is wrong. And the fact that you are having to reference a war crime to justify what's happening in Gaza is not a point for you. It's completely awful. When people say, oh, well, look at what we did. Look at all these other horrific things we did. Why do you care about this horrible thing that's happening? I don't even understand that logic. It's completely ridiculous. Look, there is no person in good conscience who should be comfortable with the amount of death that's happening in Gaza. And yes, if you are going to correlate it to Dresden, that would be a fair comparison, except much more has been dropped on Gaza than was dropped in Dresden. So is it fair to call what's happening in Gaza a Holocaust? Is that what we're looking after when you have this nonstop onslaught? And it's completely ridiculous to say, oh, well, this is happening because of Hamas. Let's be very clear. It is happening because the Israeli government will not stop bombing them, okay? So you had a very sympathetic audience all around the world, myself included, when October 7th happened. There was not a single person that should or could justify the terrorist acts that was enacted by Hamas. But the collective punishment that is being assigned to the Gazans, the Palestinians living in Gaza, is also unacceptable, and the entire world should condemn it, and it should be made to stop. And I do believe that a radical fringe has taken hold of Israel. And further evidence of that, by the way, is that we are not even allowed to critique Israel without having people like Rabbi Shmuley, which I never said he threatened to murder me, but he has threatened me for 2 years, essentially trying to bully people into their belief that they have a right.
You never said that I threatened to murder you? We're going to post
No,
every
I never
time
said that you threatened to murder me.
What do you guys think, chat? Because that's a pretty big statement. Like, is that what happened or is that not what happened? My goodness. Please subscribe, like, and turn on those notifications.
Don't cut me off. I did not cut you off.
Okay, I will not cut you off. Go ahead, please.
I did not cut you off, okay? The point is that now what's happening across America is that you have Zionist organizations that are threatening and bullying people because people are taking a stance against this act against humanity. What they're doing is inhumane in Palestine. And so what they're doing is they're saying this person should get fired, this person should lose their job. The Zionist Federation of Australia just asked for me to have my visa banned simply because I don't support what Israel is doing. And if that is what I have to pay, if ultimately what happens, I get my visa banned because Zionism has a lot of money in media, then so be it. It's less of a price than the children in Gaza are paying right now. And as a Christian, I will never support what Bibi Netanyahu is doing.
Right, and what's interesting...
Those are some big statements, you know, like very, very big statements. And I'm not saying she doesn't know what she's talking about, or she does know what she's talking about, but how does she actually know she's getting truthful information? I don't know, man. This is so wild. This is like so mind-boggling.
To me, Rabbi Shmuley.
May I
well,
respond?
hang on. Yes, yes, but let me just say again the question I put to you earlier. It's not just people outside Israel who are now heavily criticizing Netanyahu and his government. It is people inside Israel in massive numbers. And so my...
Chat, is that accurate? Are people inside of Israel not agreeing with Netanyahu? Please subscribe, like, turn on those notifications.
question for you is, why? Why are so many people inside Israel taking to the streets to demand that Netanyahu stop this war?
What do you think, chat? What is it? Super abrasives. Yeah, bro. Looking for the honesty. Thank you for joining in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Chat's saying yes. Oh my gosh. All right, here we are. Let's see it.
No, they
50% do not agree.
never said he should stop the war. They said there should be a ceasefire to release the hostages because Israel is a cult. Don't interrupt me, please, Candace. Because Israel is a culture of
Absolutely everyone does not agree on everything. Valid statement.
life, and that's why Israel got into this mess for October 7th. They traded 1,000 murderers, including Yahya Sinwar, who Israel saved at Soroka Hospital in Beersheba when he had a brain tumor. The Hamas Hitler, who's the architect of October 7th, Israel saved his life. It's a culture of life, even for Palestinian murderers.
The Hamas? What? Who's this guy?
Life, and that's why Israel got into this mess for October 7th. They traded 1,000 murderers, including Yahya Sinwar.
Yahya Sinwar? Yahya Sinwar. Leader of Hamas in the Gaza Strip and a chief architect of the October 7th, 2023 attacks. He was killed by Israeli forces on October 16th, 2024 in Rafah. Okay.
Who Israel saved at Soroka Hospital in Beersheba when he had a brain tumor. The Hamas Hitler, who's the architect of October 7th, Israel saved his life. It's a culture of life, even for Palestinian murderers.
The internet just said they killed him.
They traded 1,000 for Gilad Shalit. You remember that. And now a whole group is saying, even if it leads to another October 7th, I need my children home. I understand that. Pierce, I have 2 sons fighting in this war. I understand the dangers that are being faced. No one's saying to stop the war, not to destroy Hamas. They're saying call a ceasefire to release the hostages because of their execution. But I must respond. First of all, Candace just said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Dresden. What's your source for that? Do you know that in Dresden, there were 1,000 Lancaster bombers sent over 2 nights by Churchill, and then 800 American, that's 1,800 bombs. What's your source that Israel dropped more than on Dresden?
So it's just interesting because you realize that you use Dresden as an example
No. Answer the question. You just
Super abrasive says Netanyahu was about to be ousted by a civil war, and the war of the 7th saved him. October 7th saved him. Oh. Interesting. You know, some people got to do what they got to do, I guess. I don't know. Is that accurate?
just made Pierce. This is deflection.
I said more tons
you
of
said that Israel. You just made a blood libel against the Jewish state. Dresden.
We
was
can't keep doing
1,000
this.
Lancaster
We can't keep doing
bombers
this.
over
And
2
this
nights.
gets into,
I am
I'm sorry,
asking you, what is your source?
This is getting
The
very
answer,
boring.
the answer. Okay, don't
person
interrupt
who
me,
is
please.
blood-
The answer is
the person who is blood
Pierce.
libeling
It's
Israel
my turn,
is
correct?
Israel,
Pierce.
Rabbi
okay?
Shmuley,
No,
Shmuley, you can't ask someone a question and then
It is
refuse to let them answer.
So I asked for a source. I didn't ask for a
absolutely-
question. Go ahead. What's the
It
source?
is
We've heard the
absolutely
question.
absurd. I'm
Candace.
going to respond to what you are saying. This tactic of when anybody brings up anything that Israel is doing is wrong, you get to just scream
Okay, you see,
blood
there is no
libel
source.
and
So, Pierce, let me continue.
anti-Semitism.
Don't interrupt
and,
her.
oh my
Invented it.
gosh,
I'm
it's a
sorry.
blood libel. It is not
Don't
a blood
interrupt
libel
her
to
when she
talk
won't
about
give
the
a source.
amount of death and the tons of explosives that have been dropped on the civilians in Palestine, okay? That is not a blood libel against
You
Jewish
said
people.
that Israel
This is such a
dropped more
nasty
on
and
Gaza than
perverted
Dresden.
tactic,
What is your
which
source?
essentially says I don't have to debate anymore because I get to just call everybody a person who's accusing me of blood libels. Okay, truly, what is happening right now is that the blood of Palestinians is being shed. Okay, that is not a libel against the Jews. That is a fact and a reality against Bibi Netanyahu and this government, which has gone extreme in their response to October 7th. So stop this tactic.
Understood. Pierce, can I now have my turn again? All I asked was the source. Clearly, she has none. It was invented out of whole cloth. That's what a blood libel is. A blood libel is when Candace Owens says that the actual medieval blood libel, that Jews killed Christians and drank their blood,
I will
she
pull up the
actually
source for you.
believes that. Please don't interrupt me.
I will
She
find
actually
you the
says
source.
that there were Christian bodies found all over Europe. When she said that I am not trying to kill her, we will post right after this, where she said it at least on 8 occasions. That's why she's being investigated by the FBI. Because you can lie about me, you can call me filth, and Pierce won't, and you can call me psychotic. I've never said that about you. But what you can't do is incite violence against my family. You have repeatedly said I'm trying to kill you. You said the Jews killed JFK. You said if the Jews killed JFK,
You said all this
and
earlier.
we couldn't protect the president. Okay, wait one second.
Can we get back to the
go back
debate?
for a moment. No, wait. Let's just go back for a moment. No, Pierce, I have to respond to things.
Would you like a
when
source?
Candace says that it is demonic.
You wanted the source from Candace.
I never got.
You
I
wanted
never,
the
I never got between.
Rabbi Shmuley, you wanted the source from Candace.
You
I think
will-
she's.
you will
I
not
think
let
she
me
has
speak.
one. Well, why don't you let her answer?
What do you guys think? Should he let Candace give the source or not? This is some interesting form of communication going on over here.
I think she has one.
Let me fact check this source as well. So 70,000
Yes, I want to see where Israel
Let her
dropped more
answer,
bombs
please.
on Gaza than Dresden.
70,000
Go ahead.
tons of explosive have been dropped on the Gaza Strip. Let's see
And
how many
Dresden?
tons of explosives were dropped on Dresden. 1 second.
You mean she said it and now she's fact checking it? You're. Kidding me, right?
Well, you're
You mean
asking
she
me to
said
give
it
you the
this-
Please, y'all, you gotta subscribe, like, and turn on notifications because we got the best community going on over here.
direct source
statement,
live, and I'm
now
going
she
to
is-
look it up for you.
I
So
don't,
give
I
me
don't
1
have, I don't
second.
have a computer on me. I don't have a
think-
computer on me. This is ridiculous.
Let her
If you want, I can let him borrow my computer if he wants.
finish.
This is a cheat
and
sheet.
answer
This
the
is
question.
absurd.
Let her answer the question.
Go ahead.
Candace.
So 2,700 tons of bombs were dropped on Dresden in an 800 bomber air raid. And that is according to Britannica, the encyclopedia.
And what
as
was
a
the
source.
tonnage of bombs dropped in Gaza?
In Gaza, it was 70,000 tons of explosives were dropped in the Gaza Strip, and I got that from CNN.
Through the duration of the war to date?
Okay.
Is that the time scale?
Yes.
Okay. So Rabbi Shmuley,
which
that would
they're
seem to
saying
be
has surpassed
So
the
let's be clear.
Dresden,
So over
Hamburg, and
11
London during
months,
World
she's
War II.
comparing an 11-month war to a single night in Dresden. That's clearly absurd. I'm glad that she has her cheat sheet, her computer in front of her. But notice, she made this
Well, you called it a
statement
blood libel.
not knowing what she was talking
what
about.
she
Just a
said.
moment, please.
Hang
Please don't interrupt me.
on. What she said, to be clear, was that the
It's
Israeli
also in the New York Times.
Defense Force had dropped more bombs on Gaza than were dropped on Dresden. That is true. Do you accept that, Rabbi Shmuley?
You know, Pierce, I find
you
this an
accept it?
astonishing debate.
You asked.
Wait,
you asked for the proof.
Wait. First of
Do
all,
you accept that's true?
first of all, I don't. Wait. What do you mean it's true? Because she said it's true?
No, do you accept
Do you
that's
have fact
true?
checkers?
The New York Times says it's true.
Is this a serious show? Wait.
Man, I kind of feel bad for the guy. He was just getting... Oh, man. I don't know, man. This is wild. How do we find peace, y'all? How do we find peace? That's the question. That was a pretty gnarly argument right there. All right, so today a federal judge, grand jury in Newark, New Jersey, returned a 3-count indictment charging U.S. Democratic Representative LaMonica McIver, potentially facing 17 years in prison. Trying to figure out what is this body cam image of. Okay, so she was charged with forcibly impeding and interfering with federal law enforcement officers. Okay. Not there. That doesn't look like her. How? So count 1 has a maximum penalty of 8 years for count 1. Count 2 carries an additional maximum penalty of 8 years. Count 3 carries a maximum penalty of 1 year, so 17 years. New Jersey U.S. Attorney Alina Haba statement. As I have stated in the past, it is my constitutional obligation as the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for New Jersey to ensure that our federal partners are protected when executing their duties. While people are free to express their views for or against particular policies, they must not do so in a manner that endangers law enforcement and the communities those officers serve in. And obviously they got to make a meme of her, right? Yeah. Yeah. I think y'all in the chat are going to like this one.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to meet you. I've heard about you.
I've heard about you.
So, well, thank you. I want to understand what you believe, and I want to give you a chance in a minute to just lay it out, not what you're pivoting against, which are a lot of the same thing. I agree with you on some of the things you're pivoting against for sure, but what do you affirmatively believe? So I just want to stand back and let you explain it. But first I want to understand how you got to where you are, how you became Nick Fuentes. So this is my understanding of your life arc, and tell me if I'm wrong. You show up at Boston University. You grew up in a suburb of Chicago, kind of working class, western suburb, and you show up at Boston University in the fall of 2016 at the height of the battle between Trump and Hillary. It's like this kind of pivot point in history. And you show up with a MAGA hat, and you have a Trump hat, and you have like basically off-the-shelf Republican views?
Yes.
And so describe the views that you had then, and then describe what happened.
Thoughts, everybody, on Mr. Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. Man, I'm excited for this one. Guitar Tucker.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was very political. I was reading a lot of the libertarian stuff, Austrian school, Chicago school, economic type literature, because that's what was popular at the time. If you went online in the early 2010s, that's all the conservative content there really was. That was the most extremely online type
Libertarian
stuff.
economics.
Well, yeah, basically kind of the remnant of the Ron Paul revolution.
Yes.
The Young Americans for Liberty, PragerU, which kind of skews a little more, I guess, conservative, but very basic small government, individualism, libertarian type stuff.
So you watch PragerU videos?
Oh, yeah. I was in the Prager Force.
What's that?
It's a Facebook group for college kids, and they promote the PragerU videos.
Wow.
To the college students and high school students.
So you really were a product of the moment.
Yeah.
Hey, Kofi Didi, thank you for joining in on the chat. How does that work with YouTube? Tell him to send me a message. And if he has any info or any breaking news, it would be great to see some of that. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026.
Absolutely.
And how'd you feel about Trump?
Well, initially, I didn't like Trump.
Italo. That's hilarious, bro.
And the primary started in 2015. I considered him to be a statist.
Yeah.
Which sounds so ridiculous now.
No, a lot of people thought that.
Yeah. And I was a libertarian, so I saw him as a big government, 1990s liberal. When he was asked about healthcare, he said, well, we'll take care of everybody. And I said, I'm a Rand Paul guy, Ted Cruz guy. Those were kind of my people back in 2015.
You like Ted Cruz?
I was a cruise missile.
Does Cruz know that?
I don't think so, no. I was actually on his campaign.
You were on the Ted Cruz campaign?
I don't know if I was on the campaign, but I door knocked in a little village in Chicago, in McKinley Park.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me for a second, but let me just show you this. This is Caroline Leavitt, 28-year-old, with her 61-year-old husband. Be honest, what's your first thought? And who is Caroline Leavitt? She is an American political spokesperson who has served as the 36th White House press secretary since 2025, a member of the Republican Party. She was the party's nominee in the 2022 election for the New Hampshire 1st Congressional District. She's a wife, a mother. Okay. Oh my gosh. Do we or do we not? I think we have to see if we can withstand it. Chat, we're doing it. We're doing it. This is going to be wild. I think we got to do it. We got to do it. It's going.
Please welcome White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and CEO and chair of TP USA, Erica Turks.
Oh my God, dude. what type of music is this? This is that trap music? Here's some 808s in there. Would Charlie accept this type of music?
Hello. This is a great turnout.
Hello, GW.
This is awesome. So we were talking backstage for a little bit. You don't look pregnant.
I feel it, girl.
Yeah.
9 months pregnant today.
9
Thank
months.
you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So
let's
any
hope
day.
that I don't have to go to GW hospital tonight.
Right. I hope so too.
Congratulations to her, 9 months pregnant. Yeah, hopefully she has a healthy kid.
We were reminiscing backstage of how when I was pregnant, I was like 190 some pounds, and Charlie kept bringing me. He'd be like, "You want a hot fudge sundae tonight, don't you?" And I was like, "I actually do." He's like,
Caroline Leavitt is 28 years old. Chances of her having a healthy child are very, very high.
"I'll come back. I'll go get one." And he just kept bringing all these different treats. Every night he'd come home from work, and that's how I was very fat and happy when I was pregnant. And you look amazing.
That's
So-
what husbands are for during
Right.
pregnancy. And there has been no shortage of ice cream in our house either. So
They
we're
live
going for it.
vicariously through it all. So share with us how you met Charlie. I love hearing these stories of how people, their favorite memory or how they met him or what they carry with them of Charlie.
Yeah. So I was first introduced to Charlie, as you know, during my congressional campaign in 2022. I ran for Congress up in New Hampshire.
Data Diva, lighten up the chat. Which one are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
Which is my home state. We have some Granite Staters. Hi, guys. The first in the nation primary state.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every day at 2026.
That's how I was introduced to politics. I came to D.C. I worked in President Trump's White House in the
So, King, that's interesting. I did not know that. My goodness.
first term, started as an intern, and then, unfortunately, Joe Biden was installed as
I'm here for the chats. I'm here for the chats.
President of the United States. So I had to choose a different job. And I went over to Capitol Hill, and I was a communications director for former Congresswoman, soon to be former Elise Stefanik. And she actually really encouraged and inspired me to run for office. So I said, heck yeah, let's do it. And I launched my congressional campaign. And Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were the only organization in the political world that supported me. The entire establishment in this city were with my opponent in the primary, but I think Charlie loved that I was a young person who was stepping up to the plate, and he and Tyler reached out, flew me out to Arizona, met them at the headquarters, and then they said, we're on board fully, and they truly were. Throughout the entire primary, we met at the investor retreat in Arizona.
Cap Wins has entered the chat. How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Arizona. They introduced me to all of these MAGA Patriot donors who contributed to my campaign, and I'll never forget it because
Other white lady Trump can't get because he's married.
because Charlie gave me his word that he would support me, and he did all the way through, not just through that congressional run in the primary, and then in the general election when I did lose to the Democrat candidate.
The Creek. I think you might be right, bro. If the chat wasn't here, I wouldn't be watching this.
But God closed that door but opened another, which led me now to the White House podium. And Charlie was one of the first people the night that President Trump appointed me to this role that I'm in to
Thank you, Cap Wins. We all love you, brother.
congratulate me and say how proud he was. So I'll never forget that. And he's amazing.
How many of you that are students want to run for office one day? By a raise of hands.
Some hands. Don't be shy. We need more.
Yes. So my question is for these individuals and even others too, what is the process of that? Like, do you find an application? What was the stepping stone for you? for all of it? I just want bare bone basics starting from day one and onward.
Yeah. It's not an easy process. Building a campaign is like building a business. You really have to start from the ground up. I was grateful to have worked for a congresswoman who was able to give me some guidance and sort of point me in the right direction. But you have to hire staff. You have to really depend on volunteers. And really, the very first campaign event that I did in New Hampshire, my dad brought me to it. He was my driver and my body man and my campaign manager that day. And we just showed up to a local Republican committee event in New Hampshire, and I walked in and said, hey, I'm Karoline Leavitt. I was born and raised here. I worked in the Trump White House. I'm back home. I want to run for Congress. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. But one event led to the next. And that's what running for office really is. That's what public service really is. It's gritty, hard work. Our campaign team knocked on more than 70,000 doors in that race, just in the primary alone, all across New Hampshire, all across the district, just earning one vote at a time. You have to be gritty and just put together a team, and I was grateful to have a lot of support from everyday patriots in New Hampshire who joined the fight with us, and then support from people like Charlie at the national level that really helped amplify the campaign. And it sort of just snowballed into this amazing experience, which again, didn't fully work out. I'm obviously not a member of Congress now, but I think this job is frankly a lot more fun. So
I totally agree. So what was the process like to be the White House press secretary? Because I remember when Charlie was in Palm Beach, when they were all putting together the admin, he loved it because it was as if his moment to be a football coach of just quarterbacking.
Hold on, I'm finding it for you. I'm finding it for you.
So what was the process like for you? Did you have people calling you? Did you have people throwing your name into the mix? And then did you just wake up one day and see a news article about it? What was the process?
So there really wasn't a process. So I worked as the national press secretary on the president's campaign. And I fell into that role after the loss of my congressional race. So that's a piece of advice I would give to the young people here. When a door closes, don't worry, because a new one is opening. And
definitely some interesting stuff going here. Like, I have no idea. Like, this is just like spider webs overlapped.
It's going to lead you to exactly where you need to be. So just take advantage of every opportunity in the moment and know that God has a plan, and he's going to forge your steps ahead and get you to where you want to go. Thank you. It's just the truth. And so I was running for Congress, lost the race, got a call from a friend who was working for President Trump's campaign that he had just launched in November 2022 and said, hey,
please pray with me.
Hey, the super PAC for President Trump, MAGA Inc. is looking for a spokeswoman. Do you want to come join? And I said, heck yeah. So I joined the super PAC as his spokeswoman, and then months later, when the campaign really started to rev up, Susie Wiles called and offered me the job as the campaign spokesperson, which I took willingly and wholeheartedly. She's my boss to this day, and she is amazing. And so I served with the president throughout the whole campaign, all of the trials, literally and figuratively speaking, the trials.
All right, let's go to the media attack.
So many things I love about this job. For me, being
fake news,
working with the press, as we like to call it, the fake news media, and they really are the fake news media. I see some cameras back there. I don't know if we welcomed anyone from the fake news. I'd be happy to take their questions if we did. But But for me, the best part of the job is working for a president who is so transparent. Like, what you guys hear from President Trump and see from him on social media and on TV is exactly what we hear and see from him behind the scenes. Let me just assure you.
He's very real.
He is very real. He keeps it real. You saw it yesterday at the Easter lunch.
I saw it yesterday on full display. Yes.
Like, what you see is what you get. He is so authentic, which for me as his spokesperson makes my job easy, because when I walk in there and I say, sir, this story is coming out. Truth, what do you want me to say? He just lays it on the table. There's no guessing, there's no questioning, there's no spin. It's just, it is what it is with him. And so as his spokeswoman, I'm very grateful for that, because I saw my predecessor in this role have a bit of...
Ooh, News Troll 982 has entered the chat. Is that true? My goodness. Can you get me some data on that?
a hard time, I think. And I think it's because she was...
Kev Dog Sauce, your statement is kind of contradicting.
wasn't able to communicate with her boss in a very open
Yo, Rakim, you can call me that, brother. All right, see you later.
and transparent
Thanks for
way.
cruising.
And so the president's accessibility and transparency, not just to me and the rest of the West Wing staff, but to you, the American people, and to the news media, is so refreshing. And everything he
Is media biased? What do you guys think? Or is this a political spin over here? What's going on?
says is exactly how he feels. There's no guessing. And he's honest and authentic about how he believes, and it makes my job much easier. And that's one of the things I love most about the job. Also, we have never know what you're going to get when you walk into the White House these days. Every day, isn't it?
Dragon Whisperer 33 has joined the chat. Well said, man. Well said. Controversial social issues and controversial people seem to be the stitching holding the fabric of political ideology and the bright, shiny penny that gives one credibility these days. Absolutely.
Adventure, for sure.
Is there anything that keeps you up at night with this job?
The fact that my boss is up all night and probably going to call at any hour.
Because he sleeps very, very little.
Very little.
Yeah.
Like maybe 4 hours a night. It's crazy. I'm a third his age and I can't keep up. I tell him that all the time. I think probably what keeps me up at night is I have a tendency not to sleep as well in this job because there's just so much going on all the time. Breaking news, you never know what you're going to get when you wake up, whether it's the middle of the night or first thing in the morning.
W's in the chat.
And I have all of the fake news media apps on my phone, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and I'll make the mistake of being awake at 3 a.m. and read.
I don't care what you say. I have so much respect for Carolyn. I have so much respect for her.
Reading through some of the stories, and then my brain's
Then you're
going.
awake.
Yeah,
You're awake. Your adrenaline's
I can't
going.
go back. Yeah,
No.
my adrenaline's going, and my team knows. If you ask anyone who works.
Andy Felix YD has joined the chat. Jim Bros, help me out. Does carrying all the groceries in one trip count as a deadlift PR? Yeah, bro, do it. Actually, one thing I heard is to actually increase your core strength. A lot of people carry unbalanced weight. So just imagine like a 15-pound weight in one hand and a 45 or a 55-pound weight in another hand. And so walking with that imbalance for like short periods of time actually creates like extreme strength. And then obviously switch it after. But yeah, 331. I heard that before, bro. I have no idea. Yeah, what's going to happen with the Drewski Erica thing?
For me, I see my assistant in the front row. She's smirking because they'll wake up to the group chat and I send texts between the hours of like 2 and 4 a.m. every night. And I'm like, we need to call this reporter in the morning. This is not true. We need to correct this, put this statement in this story. So it's just constant. It's a 24/7 news cycle we live in. And, you know, we're on the front lines of that at the White House every day. You feel that's the most-
Oh my gosh, we got to make Caroline shirts. If I make Caroline shirts, is we're gonna buy them and wear them?
most challenging aspect of your job is just trying to keep up with the news cycle at times?
For sure. It's never ending. You know.
A6, I don't know if you've seen, did you see like the beginning part of the stream? Because this might change your mind, dude. Wait, is it even up? Mm-hmm.
You know, after this event, I'll go look at my phone and probably...
Yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. What an angel on earth, man. We're going live every day of 2026, so make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications.
have 40 texts, 10 missed calls, all on different topics that I'll have to go sort through and figure out and call Secretary Rubio or call Secretary Hegseth and try to get to the bottom of what's about to be reported and make sure that it's factual. So it's a never-ending process and challenge that we have with the media today, and it's just the digital age that we live in. It's the way that it is.
Is there anything that you feel needs to...
Phoenix D66. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Send me a message. Send me a message.
to be either better explained...
But Phoenix, you got to be my model too, man. You got to take a picture, a selfie with it. And if you don't want your like face in it, just like blur it out. But we got to get you wearing that shirt, man. We got to make a website.
Or because here's the thing is that we are not in all of the meetings. We're not in all of the briefing sessions. We don't really fully see as the average American what is going on behind the scenes in closed doors. So we only hear
Mortal Kombat character.
what the media tells us. Is there anything that students or just average American citizen should look at differently or pay attention to differently or even shift their perspective on something a little bit more differently?
All right. Sorry, A6. I tried, bro. I tried.
You said something, Erica, that's really important, which is everyday Americans.
Kevin Foster. Yeah, bro.
You do depend on the news sources that you read to give you the information that you need to make decisions in your life. Economic news, political news. Obviously, it informs the electorate.
The white man, yeah, a few people have mentioned that. I don't know for sure, but possibly. Anyone have any data on that?
Informs how people vote. And we have, unfortunately, an overwhelmingly biased and liberal media in this country.
Marcy Follett, heard that before. What actually happens is they give the corporations the authority to write the regulations. Wild. Is that what's best for the community, for society, for the environment, for people?
If you look at, I love the Media Busters organization.
Captain Orange, oh my goodness. If you can give me data and proof about that, I would love to see that, bro. I've heard that a few times, but I haven't really seen like actual good proof.
They do surveys week to week about the coverage on the cable channels in this country and how they're approaching their stories and their coverage of President Trump. And it is always in the 90s, 90% or more negative against the president and our policies. And you have to imagine the vast majority of the country is consuming that. And the president says it all the time. It's miraculous that he won nearly 80 million votes in the last election. It shows that people like you, many of the people in this room with those MAGA hats on, you see through the fake news and you really search for the truth. And I see that firsthand every day, the process that the fake news goes through to write stories.
I think their legs look pretty normal to me, but maybe she looks a little tall, but she's pregnant, so I don't know. And she's wearing black. I can't really tell how long their legs are.
It's really just such a low level of journalistic integrity. I mean, they will find anyone and call them a source familiar with the White House, and then they'll just write what that person said, like it's the truth, like it's actually happening in our meetings, like it's actually being said behind closed doors. And I read so many stories every day that are just completely baseless. Things that were allegedly said that never were said. And sometimes they don't even come to the White House for comment. That's the craziest part, and that's my biggest pet peeve. It's like,
mine too.
You're writing this story with all these sources that you claim know what they're talking about, and you didn't even check with the people who are actually there, who will dispute it or at least give you the accurate information. And we deal with this. Our team at the White House receives about 200 to 300.
If Trump does get impeached, who do you think should be there instead? Marion Hutchins, thank you for the chat.
Press inquiries a day from outlets across the country and the world. And every single one that comes in usually has a biased perspective that we have to sort through and run down the facts And you can imagine it's a very arduous process. So again, a piece of advice, do not believe everything you read. If you showed up willingly to this event tonight, you probably already don't, which is why you're a supporter of turning.
Yeah, bro, for sure. For sure. Just as friends.
Point and all the great work that Charlie did and Erica continues to do, because you want truth in our media landscape today, and we need more of it.
And how do you navigate knowing what's true and what's not? Because what I've been noticing is that a lot of these, especially independent journalists.
JANM8FQ. Great question. I have no idea. I think primarily her just being married to Charlie got her up there for sure. So I don't know.
They pedestal their sources above the actual individual or organization that they're talking about. How can students be able to delineate what is true, what is not? Is there a filter that you run news through yourself where you're like, pause, let's really think about this and break it down?
There unfortunately isn't just an easy solution to know what's factual and what's true. The best advice I could give is to take everything you read with a grain of salt. Nothing you really see.
In Paraguay. I didn't hear about Paraguay. Dragon Whisper 33.
Don't take it as gospel until you look at other.
Ooh, Aladdin Sane. 848. Propaganda Barbie. Haven't heard that, bro. That's a solid slapper right there. Yeah, dude.
Places. You know, just because one influencer says something online based on one source doesn't mean it's real. That is true of, you know, the legacy outlets in this country, the New York Times, Washington Post. I read it all. I mean, that's how I start my day every day. I read the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, front to back. It pains me, but I need to know what they're saying, right? Because that really drives the news cycle of the day that we have to.
I respect that. She's reading both sides. That's really cool.
Combat, but then also on online engagement and what's happening on X and in other places in the digital world is important to understand, because oftentimes, as you know, what starts on X as a rumor then becomes a legacy media narrative. So you have to kind of get ahead of those things before they really spiral into something that's just a complete fallacy. So my advice would be to encourage everyone in this room to try to be the most well-read person in every room that you're in. That was a piece of advice one of my predecessors, Dana Perino, gave to me before I took this job. She said, you always want to be the most well-read person in the room. And I try to be every day. But Donald Trump always is. That man does not miss a story, let me tell you. He's always reading the papers and watching the TV. He doesn't miss anything anyone says in the whole world. I don't know how he does it and consumes it all. And it's a lot. And, you know, you guys are busy, right? You're students. You're working. You're in school. You want to have
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you.
fun. You want to live lives. You can't.
The White Man. Thank you, brother. You too. Thanks for being here.
Consume every piece of news. But before you get really hot and bothered about something, or maybe angry, or even really encouraged by something, check other sources and then use your best judgment to sort of balance what the truth is. And unfortunately,
No worries, Terry.
that's just the way it has to be done.
And when you have that heavy intake of the press and you're reading all the stories, like you said, as a Christian, how do you guard your heart and mind when you read all of these from all walks of life, all different media types? How do you guard your mind and your heart from letting it penetrate and just really...
JD Vance, Dragon Whisper 33. Is that who you're talking about? I did not see that, man.
upset you or throw your whole day or just mess with even the internal narrative that you guys have in the admin?
Through prayer and faith. It's the only way to just cover yourself in prayer and in faith. And, you know, faith gives you such perspective that even the worst story or the worst news cycle is just a moment and it's passing. This too shall pass. And, you know, I think seen videos, my team and I always pray before every briefing. That's a crucial step in our process as a team to prepare before we go out.
JD Vance must be a really cool guy if he's drunk. Dude, where is JD right now? Right here? Give me a close-up of JD. Come on, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Oh, here we go. his cameo.
And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that
Not you, bro.
And I know that.
Okay.
It's actually a very important question.
Oh, he was angry. Trump just kind of spoke right when he was supposed to speak.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days.
Yeah, Loki, you are 100% correct. I feel like they're taking my advice. You got to be across podcasts as being like, bro, it doesn't matter what you support. Cross-reference your information 100%.
And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
You guys saw Zelensky like playing the piano, right?
Sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about it. You just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from
Yeah, I don't know if he's drunk
those
here.
areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be...
You never know, man. There's more to this video. There might be a broken glass coming up.
They'll be protected. The agreement will protect them. The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why...
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings, I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go.
He gets worse. Yeah, you guys heard about the piano.
Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal? That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to?
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're going live every day of 2026.
Be tough. I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be...
America since 1776. Absolutely great point. How often did President Biden have these types of press conferences?
So tough, but you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
San Diego, 1904. Absolutely.
I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president.
Thank you for joining in on the chat. Volker 2P. Who is your favorite politician? Just curious.
Who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path.
Hamdibonia. Thank you for joining in on the chat and bringing a laugh.
To peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but
just so y'all know, about 3 years ago, I was hanging out with a Ukrainian friend, and she told me this whole Ukrainian thing isn't something new. It's been going on for like 10 to 12 years. So,
but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014.
Trump wasn't there. If Trump was there, that wouldn't have happened. No.
14 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. That people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him.
Okay.
Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire.
I didn't see that story.
Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will
Oh
never
my God.
go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions.
Zelensky looks like he's a guy who's getting like screamed at for missing like 7 wide open goals.
Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Is Trump putting him in his place?
We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
it.
cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling
I'm
with the
president
lives of
war.
millions of people.
You think
you're gambling.
He's talking like that to the president right now. How wild is this? Is this this almost looks like reality television, honestly, like his face and all that type of stuff. This is wild.
With World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about you,
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
Brian Adams has joined the chat. It seems like this is scripted.
if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
in 3
okay?
days. I
Scott 83 in the last 48 hours. Unfortunately, the United States has lost 2 fighter attack aircraft, F-15E Strike Eagle and an A-10 Thunderbolt II Warthog.
heard it from Putin in 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new
less.
in 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think
Ghost G8030 has entered the chat.
it's good for the American
That's hilarious, bro.
people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire.
What does Zelensky get out of like speaking like this to President Trump?
I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war, but
you
I
say
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every day of 2026.
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
There was
Great point, Roy Vowles. I have no idea. If anyone knows the answer to Ray Vowles' question, he asks, why did we even send foreign aid to Ukraine in the first place? Now Zelensky is threatening the United States.
Doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia
Putin
breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden.
What if anything?
Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered him to be a tough guy. And
Trump is one of my all-time favorite comedians. There's Trump, Kanye West, Theo Von.
I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. Your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest.
Nico Ricci has joined the chat. It's important to know that Congress's number one goal on both sides is perpetual war and increasing defense budgets. Unfortunately, there's a lot of innocent people that die when that happens. So that's wild. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can stay informed. We're going live every day at 2026.
That's not a nice thing. All right.
Lila Rail. You're so sweet. You're so kind. Thank you for being one of the 23% of female viewers on this channel.
I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks, sir.
I need the back of your
Is this thing worth it to watch from the start? I actually haven't seen it. I've just seen clips of it. Is it like actually worth it or not really? Yeah, great question, Roy Vallis.
Out into the briefing room, into the Lions.
Oh, Ghost G, 8030. Thank you for being a female and joining in on the chat. Appreciate it.
Den and go up against,
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications.
journalists who obviously are trying to trip me up. That's the nature.
I think we got to see the start of this thing. I want to see how this thing starts, man. Are they kind when they start or not? Not at all. Kind of looking uncomfortable right now. There you go, pets.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time.
Trump just said daddy's here and you're going to shut up now, son. That's what a boss does. Oh, man. Yeah, who trumped Ukraine's Lily behind?
We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well.
Good vibes 1000. Yeah. Power to the females.
A little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside.
Yeah, he's a little nervous. He's like, man, do I need to be here going against Mr. Trump?
And it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much.
Ooh, Born to Worship 365. Interesting hand pose, boss. He caught it. That's wild. Does it actually mean anything?
And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. They're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see them
Digging.
put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000.
Yeah, Michael Carledge, T3B. There's no time left for arguing. How can we find peace? Let's find a resolution. Come on, y'all.
Sometimes, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quick.
So Trump is actually starting very nice. He's complimenting Zelensky. Okay.
And here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters. And you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So
Trump's actually calling for peace. He wants to stop it. Okay.
it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when we get when they stop the shooting and we end up with...
Yeah, Zelensky looks very, very uncomfortable. He's moving a lot. He's coughing. And Trump just seems like he's locked in. His mind is sharp. He's speaking extremely well.
With the deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that. And an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
No, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for the invitation. And really, I hope that this first document, will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine.
That girl for you, well said, absolutely. Is that even possible? Goodness gracious.
Our people, our children, I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course the infrastructure or security guarantees, because for today I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do, and I really count on your strong position to stop Putin, and you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important.
Bronx Most Wanted. So when America leaves NATO, do we still have to foot the bill for Ukraine? Great question. Great question. Anyone in the chat know the answer to that? Oh my gosh. We're going live every day at 2026. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications.
To say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories. But it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's.
They need licenses? What do you mean they need licenses? They're in the middle of a war. You want to go through some paperwork to get some licenses to survive? What is this guy talking about? Or am I misunderstanding?
Why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you. And we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will.
All right. So allegedly, even if the U.S. left NATO, it would not be automatically required to fund Ukraine. Funding Ukraine is a separate policy choice, not a NATO obligation.
Not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that these crazy Russians, that they stole 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children, they changed their names. They changed.
Good vibes 1000.
Their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back. And really, it's a big, big dream, task and goal for me and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we exchanged, yeah.
It's a little interesting here. So the U.S. funds Ukraine mainly to counter Russia, support an ally under attack, and protect broader global stability and its own strategic interests. But doesn't Trump have a very good relationship with Putin?
That's released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's can I now?
Yeah, please.
Some minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of.
Handle knob shaft lever 02 has joined the chat. Biden is incomprehensibly corrupt, and the paper that he was doing as vice president and through the presidency with his brother and Hunter is deeper than we will ever know because they're covered. Man, do you have access to that? I'd love to see that, man. That would be so incredible. Please subscribe and like, y'all.
Of Russia to our prisons. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys.
This one doesn't look real, dude. This looks like they just chopped him and put him in there. Like they chopped the image of somebody. That lighting doesn't look correct.
Ladies and men, there, and that, so they don't eat, they beat them, and they, do a lot of, bad things. So out of even.
M1's place today, they are not friends. They dislike each other. Are you referring to Trump and Putin? I was under a different impression, but it shows how much I know.
During the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms left, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will just share with you. And I mean, it's looking tragic.
Yep, that's tough stuff.
Yeah, I wanted very much to give you, and you see.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors.
Yeah, the Restream bot is real. So what that is like I have from different places, and so if it says Restream and then it has an @ and then the name after that, that's where that thing is coming from. But everything comes from a different channel, and then it comes to us, which is like we're all together. But I'm streaming on different platforms. But just so everyone can communicate together, because we're building an amazing community, that's what Restream Bot is. It brings all of the communication together in one spot, so everyone can communicate together. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And after, so like for instance, says Restream Bot. And then it says YouTube at Amber Shaw 3370. They stole bastards. So that was from Amir Shah. Thank you for joining in on the chat, Amir Shah. But yeah, just to try to let you know what Restream Bot is.
To the prison. We at the end of last.
No bots allowed in here, just people.
Year we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so I mean this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah, of course. We
and I think we will. And
we have to, of course.
Do you have any questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected. But still, it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, taking it, using.
So maybe that's the reason, raw earth. So Ro Khanna.
Out front now, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna. Sir, thanks for being with us. You notably joined forces with Republican Thomas Massie to get the Epstein files released. How are you seeing Pam Bondi's legacy when it comes to handling that issue, and how much do you think that was a factor in her dismissal?
Thomas Massie and I showed that Congress isn't a doormat. We forced President Trump to fire his own attorney general. And the reason he fired her is because of the Epstein cover-up. Look, she refused to release the file. She said to move on. Thomas Massie and I passed a law requiring the files to be released. Then she wasn't releasing anything. Thomas Massie and I threatened contempt. We threatened impeachment. Finally, she released 3 million files. But she still wasn't releasing the rest of the files. She wasn't prosecuting. And then she got held by in contempt and subpoenaed by oversight. I mean, at least a subpoena. And that's, I think, the pressure that was building on her.
Your committee is scheduled to depose Bondi on April 14th. It's coming up very quickly. And Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the committee,
April 14th, 10 days from now,
says that Bondi must still appear. But the Republican chairman, James Comer, is saying he's speaking to Republicans on the committee and the DOJ about the status of this subpoena and figuring out next steps.
The J.D. Leon. Taiwan has the best rare earth and we flub that. What do you mean? Explain yourself, please. Would like to know. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every day of 2026.
Are you seeing signs that this deposition might not happen?
Well, it should happen. I mean, she has questions to answer. We've interviewed former officials before. We need to ask her, why did she cover up some of the files? Why are some of these files not being released? Why was there no prosecution of individuals who have committed these heinous acts? It frankly has nothing to do with whether she was Attorney General or not. She should be more free to speak her mind and tell the truth. So we absolutely need this deposition to continue. But more importantly, we need the new Attorney General, whoever that is, to commit to releasing.
Tibuno has joined the chat. The largest terrorist organization in the world is the Democratic Party, working right under our noses. The Diddycrats, our top enemies. Lighten up the chat.
All the Epstein files and to commit to prosecuting the individuals who raped or abused.
Was Diddy on the Island Man E-files?
These young girls. And that should be a prerequisite to get confirmation in the United States Senate.
As Kristen Holmes just reported, sources are telling CNN the president is weighing whether to nominate Lee Zeldin, the current head of the EPA, to be the next attorney general. Obviously, he's a former member of Congress.
So Pam Bondi decided to join in on the private sector. And so she's no longer working with President Trump.
Like Bondi, he also has a long record of praising Trump. Let's listen.
I'm grateful this holiday season for you, Mr. President. You're willing to take a bullet for all of us, and by all of us, it's the American public. What we are accomplishing now, again, wouldn't be possible if not for your leadership. I'm grateful to the American people for electing you.
Do you think, Congressman, that Zeldin, and I see you smiling, do you think that having him as AG would change the priorities of this DOJ, or having anyone that the president might be inclined to pick at this point will change?
Thank you for joining in on the chat. David Carroll, 185. She decided nothing. Yeah, it was a little interesting because allegedly Donald Trump was saying it was an honor working with her, and he was like really kind about it, but it was kind of different. But you never know, like maybe she's making more money in the private sector and doesn't have to worry about all that stress, because that's a lot of stress, you know, working with President Trump, and given the situation, like that's not an easy job at all. But yeah, make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications.
Change the priorities of this DOJ.
Well, I'm smiling because it's such sycophancy, and we can't replace one lawless sycophant with another. But look, I believe that Lee Zeldin, if he's the nominee, should come before the Senate, and he should answer some basic questions. Will he commit to releasing the...
DeBuno, man, how amazing would that be? And how much better would the earth be? Goodness gracious. DeBuno for president.
Rest of the Epstein files. Will he commit to prosecuting the individuals who have serious allegations in there, like Les Wexner and
Trump is your daddy,
and Leon Black, at least investigating them? Will he commit to making sure that the survivors' names are actually redacted and the people that they named are released? And if he does that, then at least there's some credibility. And by the way, if he makes those promises and backtracks, he'll have the same fate as Pam Bondi.
Taking shots, man. Taking shots. Let me get that view right there. Taking shots. Man. Ooh. That's a strong one. How wild do you have to be to go to Cuba? Honestly.
Hasan Piker is one of the biggest social media influencers and political commentators in the world, with millions of followers online. He just returned from a visit to Cuba, where he saw conditions on the ground firsthand. Hasan,
from this picture, it doesn't look bad, right? Nice.
Piker, welcome to The Story Is for the first time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Paint us a picture of what it's like on the ground.
All right, so journalists can't do their jobs anymore. They got to hire an influencer.
What'd you see?
When I first landed in Cuba, I was taken aback by how beautiful everything was.
Nice.
You know, you got the 1950s cars, and it's a tropical island destination. But very quickly thereafter, as soon as we got into Havana, the main city area where people congregate, I couldn't believe the sights that I was seeing. It was very sad. You had homes that looked like they were bombed out. Our tour guide at the time said that this was somewhat of a product of hurricane season and how difficult it is to like repair these buildings. And I already had known about the rolling blackouts, and I experienced them later in the day. And it was definitely unlike anything I've ever experienced before. Everything's pitch black. There aren't any traffic lights on. Like it's crazy, right? But I was taken aback. I was very sad by all the poverty that I saw, and then I was very angry. It was actually Ben Rhodes who told
Absolutely, DeBuno. I've seen that for sure.
me that I would get very sad when I first went to
Former Obama foreign policy advisor.
Former Obama foreign policy advisor Ben Rhodes, who was formative in the previous normalization agreement with Cuba that Barack Obama had orchestrated, and he was right. It was very sad to see, but then it was very angering. It was very anger-inducing because I felt like there was a lot of potential on this island that we were just robbing the people of, and it's totally cruel and totally unnecessary. And it was part of the reason why I went to Cuba, because I've heard a lot about Cuban organizing, the Cuban government. I'd read a lot about it.
Sure.
I knew about the island's history of developing sovereignty, but I'd also heard about this blockade, right? And I wanted to figure out exactly how this
Private 8767. Thank you for being here, buddy.
blockade was harming people directly, and in many ways that are indirect, because the blockade itself is designed to be invisible. It's a system of sanctions. It's this like bureaucratic nightmare that basically renders it impossible for the island to do regular commerce, just like any other country. Banks can't take out loans from any other banks. And you, as an American citizen, as a matter of fact, have a lot of restrictions on what you can and can't do, both on the island Or if you wanted to even send money, if you have relatives on the island, it's a very
What?
difficult process to like directly send cash payments to your relatives as well. It's totally unnecessary. These rules are so arbitrary, and yet they're so damaging to everyone, to everyday Cuban existence.
What were you most surprised by actually seeing it up close and personal?
I was surprised by the resilience. I was surprised by the fact that people, in spite of all of these, struggles, were still surviving. Right? They had a relatively chill attitude about everything, which was somewhat shocking to me because I feel like I'm a much more high-intensity person.
Yes,
but
you
I
are.
was also really impressed with the accomplishments that they made in places like biomedical in the biomedical field.
What do you think is at this point the biggest need? Because we hear like the New York Times reporting about the fact that the power goes off in the hospitals and like babies are having to, be hand pumped to keep them alive in certain situations. I mean, what do you think is the greatest need
It's oil
on the ground?
100%.
Will blues ever take Texas? My goodness.
And it's actually totally legal for Cuba to trade with other countries. It's just that America makes it impossible. So what is a necessity is for the grid to come back alive. And for that to happen, they need to get oil.
Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so we can get oil.
I believe there's a Russian tanker that just docked in Havana as of this morning, if I'm not mistaken, with 730,000 barrels of oil, which will provide much needed respite and will allow the Cuban energy grid to survive. They'll still ration it heavily, but this way medicine can be transported on the island.
I want to give you a chance to respond to two criticisms of this trip that have gotten widely reported. The New York Times sort of called you out for the fact that you all stayed in a nice hotel that was very luxurious compared to a lot of what the people on the island are dealing with every day. What's your response to this, the allegations of hypocrisy there?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting as well. So we went on a humanitarian aid mission with, foreign dignitaries, delegates, advocates, activists, journalists, and the like. It was around 200, 300, 400 people. I'm not exactly sure on the number. But the American government has placed, and this was fascinating to me, we had to get an OFAC clearance from the Treasury Department just to go, right?
Yeah. Loki. That's awesome. Cubans are awesome. Great music, great food, great people. Really awesome people. Man, cool people come from Cuba.
And the American,
at least the ones I've met,
government has actually created these incredible restrictions that only allow American citizens to stay in four hotels on the island. There are thousands of hotels on the island, but we can only stay in 4. And if I don't stay in a hotel, and these are 5-star hotels, according to the American government, if I don't stay in one of those hotels, I could go to prison for 10 years and have to pay a $250,000 fine. Wow. I'm an American citizen.
Yeah.
It's so totally ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
And real quickly, there are a lot of people that are watching this, especially places like South Florida, that feel like the regime is repressive, that it's been a terrible regime, that it's killed people, and that what you're doing is propping them up. What do you say to that?
I just don't want babies to die. I don't want people to suffer. I think that the difference in opinion as far as like how Cuba governs itself is up to the Cuban population. I just want, as an American citizen, to stop putting our hand on the scale in this incredibly violent way, because the results are unbelievably violent. Collective punishment is a war crime after all, and there is no other way to look at what we've done, especially as Trump has basically said the quiet part out loud and restricted all
Democrats.
all oil from going into the island. It's impossible to ignore.
Yes, it is. And according to what he's saying, it sounds like this story is not going away anytime soon. Hasan Piker, thank you for sharing your views. Great to see you.
Great job, Hasan Piker. Great job. We're going live every day at 2026, so make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're always bringing you the latest in the news. So Michigan Hillary Scholten reveals husband suddenly left family, then filed for divorce. Promotion of a lifetime. And Democrat, yeah. Can you guys see this? Or how's my frame? That's right. I've seen better. A Democratic congresswoman in Michigan revealed Friday that her husband suddenly left their family and filed for divorce this year after 2 decades of marriage. House Rep Hillary Scholten made the personal disclosure on her X account, claiming she wanted to be upfront with her constituents about the breakup with spouse Jesse Holcomb. Wait until you see the picture. You guys got to figure out, like, what is actually going on over here. So I want to share something special. The mother of two wrote, what a sweetheart. Angel, right? Earlier this year, our family went through a heartbreaking change when my husband of 20 years suddenly left our family home and then filed for divorce. She credited family, friends, and her faith for helping her raise her boys with strength, love, and stability. We have been overcoming every day, Scholten, a Grand Rapids stated. Court records reviewed by the Detroit News indicated that Holcomb filed for divorce on January 26 in Kent County Circuit Court. An email seeking comment from Holcomb, who is a journalism professor, was not immediately returned. Scholten, 44, has shared numerous photos of the now former couple on her Instagram page, including a Christmas greeting with the entire family last December. The official biography on her congressional page now only mentions her raising her two sons and taking care of the family dog. All right, zoom in. Let's see what's happening over here. Now, I'm just wondering, like, what happened? And what for? Right? The lawmaker who's up for re-election this year also insisted that despite the heartbreak, she's passed legislation and is dedicated to her constituents. Like, if she's a lawmaker and she's emotional, is that a good idea? Scholten also stressed she's grown an extra chamber in my heart for moms and dads out there who have had to go through this. She's single. I honor your work and I'm fighting for you, she wrote. Oh, she's on a mission. Strong woman. There you go. It goes without saying that this is a deeply personal matter, but you put me in a position of trust and I want to be upfront with you about a big change in my life, Scholten wrote. That's not an easy situation for anyone, so I wish the best for her. And, yeah.
It for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil, and we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do.
And
this puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine, how does this provide?
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it. And we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000.
Too many.
And they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money, and what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And
this is a wild one, y'all. This is a wild one. Those E-Island people, yeah. Yeah. So I was wondering, I was like, what's going on with Turks and Caicos? You know, there's a lot of discussion going on around there. So doing a little look, and here it says, Rose F, a lot of celebrity elites and P3Ds own homes there. Wonder what is underground there. It's very expensive. So I can see. Yeah, okay, that got censored. Anyways, so allegedly, that's the reason. There's some things going on over there. I don't like talking about that stuff because it's horrible, but
we're able to
bring a little
really go forward with
awareness to it.
very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Mr. President,
This allows us to do this.
Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every single day of 2026.
Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just, yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points if we speak about business and investment. We never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. Use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave.
Come on, Zelensky. What are you doing, man?
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News report. We are just minutes away from NASA's historic Artemis II launch. 4 astronauts will blast off from Florida and circle the moon. It'll be the first time since 1972 that humans have flown that deep into space. NASA hopes to land Americans on the moon by 2028. President Trump will address the nation tonight with an important update on Iran. That war began more than a month ago after joint U.S. and Israeli strikes killed Iran's supreme leader. President Trump says he's also considering pulling out of NATO over member nations' refusal to help with the effort. And ahead of his address, President Trump making an unprecedented appearance at the Supreme Court. His birthright citizenship order being argued today. The justices appeared skeptical of White House efforts to end automatic birthright citizenship, a provision of the 14th Amendment. Some analysts say it could be a narrow decision. The trial of the man accused of murdering a United Health CEO has been pushed back by a month. A federal judge ruled jury selection will begin on October 5th in the federal trial of Luigi Mangione. Mangioni's attorneys argued they needed more time between his state and federal trials. And an Indiana man is accused of stealing a Bud Light truck, then crashing into a police cruiser during a...
I gotta see the rest of the story. He stole a Bud Light truck. I hope no one was in the police cruiser. I hope there was not a hero inside that police cruiser. Police are heroes, just so you know.
A wild chase last week. He now faces multiple charges, including attempted murder.
Oh my God, dude. I hope he didn't hurt a cop.
Stay here for the Artemis II launch coverage and President Trump's address tonight in Washington. I'm Bill Malugin.
Oh, man.
Are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the President of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabbard. He always has. He continues to, and that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made. Does anyone else have questions for Director Gabbard? And then we'll turn it over to a couple other questions. Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Director Gabbard. 2 follow-ups on questions that have been asked. You mentioned the previous DNIs during the president's first term. One of them reports to you right now, if I'm not mistaken, John Ratcliffe. So have you not spoken to him about why this information was not declassified during the first term?
He was in that position for a very short period of time. The work that began back then, we have picked up and absolutely completed. We are continuing to investigate this. Additional whistleblowers are now coming forward because they see an opportunity for the truth to come to light. And as Caroline said, for real accountability.
Gotta love the United States, you know, freedom of speech. That's one of the most beautiful things. And we're trying to build an amazing community over here, you know, where we can kind of communicate, debate, talk, you know, have a good time. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and love your family and love the Lord.
To DOJ, but the statute of limitations on conspiracy is 5 years. So what else could they possibly pursue besides treason?
I think that's a great question for Attorney General Pam Bondi. We're providing all of the evidence, all of the intelligence that we have, both redacted and unredacted versions, referring it to the Department of Justice and the FBI.
We'll take one more, Charlie. Go ahead.
How credible was the information about Hillary Clinton's power from you? The report said that it was from sourced from the DNC. Have you seen that information, or do you think that maybe Russia was overemphasizing what they had?
All I have seen is what the Intelligence Committee have reported through their investigation. I think the underlying point there is that we understand from intelligence what Russia said that they had. And the important point here is that if they were trying to influence the election, as President Obama and James Clapper and John Brennan, everybody said they were doing in order to support Donald Trump's election, they would have released the most damning of that information, some of which I detailed here. You'll find the rest in the report prior to the election.
DD Saracen 8749. MAGA has a leader that cheats P0 stars out of their earnings. Dang. Kitten stealer.
In some way to any kind of intelligence, either foreign or domestic?
Think is going to happen? You think we're going to be okay?
I hope so. Of course. I don't know.
Do you think about it?
I'm confused. I can't believe we went to this war. When we started bombing Iran, I was like, this can't be true.
Man, Trump, Joe Rogan, and Theo Vaughn definitely were on Trump's side for a long time. And it's interesting. Are they getting paid to say this? Are their feelings changed? Is Trump put in a weird situation now? Like, there's a lot of variables going on right now.
And what about Lebanon now?
I know. Israel's invaded Lebanon. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, just stop. Like, what do you need?
Well, they're trying to, supposedly, they're trying to stop the terrorists.
That's crazy, though, if you're terrorists.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to stop them, you stand in front of the mirror and start there.
That's always a strong statement. Stand in front of the mirror. Work on the man that's in front of the mirror first.
But also, what do I know?
What do you know?
You're right, I don't. What do you think is going to happen?
It's not an easy situation, that's for sure. That's 100%. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications, because we're trying to figure all this out. It's not easy.
I haven't seen any evidence.
Billion, making it a $550 billion deal for the American people. And I just want to emphasize, Ed, I see you have a follow-up, but it's very important. Japan has agreed to open their markets to many very key sectors in American-made products that have really faced very strict tariff and for precious souls.
Bola Dean has entered the chat.
We are so sorry for the grief and the pain you have experienced at the hands of such a vicious and evil killer. Our nation grieves with you, and we will never forget the precious souls who were lost in this horrific act of evil. If it were up to the president, he would have forced this monster to publicly explain why he chose to steal these innocent souls. May God bless and watch over everyone affected by this unimaginable tragedy, especially the parents who lost their children. Let me begin with a few scheduling items off the top. Later this afternoon, President Trump will deliver the keynote address at the Winning the AI Race Summit here in Washington, D.C. President Trump believes it is non-negotiable that the United States wins the AI race, which is why today, President Trump will announce a bold and comprehensive AI action plan to sustain and enhance America's global AI dominance. Under President Trump's leadership, our country will lead the world in AI to secure a brighter future for all Americans, massively grow our economy, and protect our national security. The president will also sign 3 executive orders at the event this afternoon. On Friday morning, President Trump will travel to Scotland for a working visit that will include a...
All right, who is this guy? Who is this guy over here? You guys know this guy?
You're going to be very, very lonely. Very lonely. And you're going to be left with sycophants in your cabinet. And don't even get me started as to what's going to happen to Pete Hegseth. I don't think Pete Hegseth realizes how much he's despised in those 5 rings.
Please like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, because we're going live every day at 2026.
Pete, there are people that have notes, there are people that have diaries. Everything that you've done is going to come forth. Understand that. Trust no one. They hate you. They can't stand you. And, of course, they're loyal people, and they will bide their time, but they're also patriotic people, and they will respond to legally issued...
What do you guys think? Is this guy a Republican or a Democrat?
Subpoenas do...
Just by his optimism and the way he speaks and the way he thinks, what do you guys think?
Ticum, that means documents, diaries, notes, everything. Yeah, they're coming after you, Pete. They're coming after you with your fake-ass macho bullshit, bombing schools in Iran and crap like that. But Trump, about a year from now, you're going to look at it, and you're going to see all of the exposure that you have. Your phone calls are not going to be returned. Foreign leaders shit about you.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe and turn on notifications, because you get accuracy in the chat.
You're not going to get any judicial nominees through. Forget about it. Forget about it. And then you're going to have what we refer to as a come to Jesus moment. You're going to assess where you are, even through your cloudy, stupid, fat-addled brain. You're going to figure out, I got to get the hell out of here. And you're going to cut a deal.
If there's anything like extremely smart about him, is he married a Republican strategist, which is very unusual, right? She worked for Republicans while he worked for Democrats. I guess he just loves to argue. So argue at work, come home, argue a little bit more. No, I don't know. He's probably a great guy. I have no idea.
And you're going to resign. NJD is going to pardon you. He got to pardon a lot of other people. But he's a creepy, ambitious little twerp. He'll do whatever he can.
Is he taking notes from Dana White? And it's like he's about to hype up a street fight right now.
To get in the White House. But they can't pardon you for state crimes. They can't pardon you in the International Criminal Court. They can't pardon you for any of this. And they can't pardon you from civil. Just right now, your life as you knew it is getting ready to end. And I'm not one of these people that want you to get sick. Oh,
come on, man. Come on, dude.
I guess, yeah.
I'm going to change it. I don't even care who it is. I'm just going to change it because I don't need that.
Yeah, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody just feels scared, and it makes
Well,
things
they
scary.
should, because a lot of things are getting exposed right now. You know, there's a lot of fraud, and you're seeing it at the highest levels of government. And people are also scared because no one's getting in trouble for things. Like, no one's getting in trouble for the Epstein files. No one's getting in trouble for...
Yeah, that's almost disappeared, kind of.
You're absolutely accurate, John Fitzpatrick. Thank you for joining in on the chat.
Well, that's part of what happens when there's some sort of a big social thing. One thing that's in the past that leaders have used to cover up problems at home is a fucking war. I'm not saying that that's why they bombed Iran, but that would be a way to do it if you're that psychotic, you know, and if you were thinking about doing it anyway.
Is that the reason they did it? What do you guys think? Like, just get me off that Island Man file. What do you think, chat? What do you think? That's like one of the main reasons, or not really? Yeah, not too many are, for sure.
You might be able to justify it. People have always done that also to stay in power.
Oh, yeah.
And even Bill Clinton said that about Netanyahu. Bill Clinton said Netanyahu wants war so he could stay in power.
For sure, dude. People call him the yarmulke Hitler. That's what
Who
they call
are
him.
these people?
Everybody does.
Which people?
Countless.
People?
Huh?
You say Kamala?
What are you saying?
What do you mean, people? You talking about
What are you talking about,
black
dog?
folks? Who?
He's got to bust out that race card. Theo Von's hilarious, man. Y'all got to make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay.
Let's not draw conclusions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He seems like a great guy.
No, really.
Well, it's just a scary time.
It's a scary time because people are willing to blow people up with fucking drones and missiles, and they're shooting into apartment buildings and blowing up schools, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, don't mess around with the schools and apartment buildings where civilians live and all that type of stuff. That's just not fair, right? Don't do that. What are y'all doing, man? What are y'all doing? Not cool, man. Ukraine, Russia war latest. Putin's forces launched 280 drone assault as Zelensky hits out at Easter escalation. 280 drones. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. TM Fellows, thank you for joining in on the chat. TM Fellows says Trump sucks. Tell me who you prefer, and reason being. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because you're about to get an answer from TM Fellows. Maybe, unless he leaves before he answers. Or she. Or they. Not sure. Putin wants to end war in this situation. And I'm always open to learning. Always open to learning. Not saying I'm correct. Literally anyone. Okay.
I'm not sure that Putin wants to finish this. No, I'm not sure.
Everybody at meetings earlier. Behind closed doors earlier. First, how did that meeting go? And secondly, he said today that everybody wants this war to end. Do you think that includes Vladimir Putin?
No, I'm not sure that Putin wants to finish this war in such situation where he is and where his army, with losses and without goals he wanted to have at the very beginning of this war. He really doesn't want. Their economy is...
Rose Berliner. Oh, thank you for joining in on the chat. Can you please inform us on what we should know?
Is really tired, and their army is very tired. But also, our army is also tired. So we are honest, and we speak about it. We do our best, what we can with our soldiers, and they do their best. But 35,000, as I said today, 35,000 dead Russian soldiers per month. And the number will increasing. 35,000, as I said today, 35,000 dead Russian soldiers per month.
I don't understand this, man. How can people be like proud of this? This is should be crying and praying, and hopefully their soul is in a better place, you know? Make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're going live every day 2026, and hopefully we can find a solution to all these wars and find peace.
And the number will increasing. And this is, big losses. It's up to them to continue the war or not. But we want to stop this war. And that's why I think President Trump can. He really can, because he has dialogue.
Trump is targeting civilians in Minnesota. Are you talking about those ones that are committing fraud?
Like with Putin.
Is that Minnesota?
Not everybody has dialogue, just even dialogue. He has dialogue with Putin on the same levels. I think America is much stronger than Russia, and you can see the result of this war.
It is, to use a word, it's a bloodbath. It's horrible what's happening. It's a drone war. The drones are killing, thousands of people a week. Thousands. We have to get it stopped.
Are you talking about the Somali child care? Oh, Trump is targeting the illegal pirates in Minnesota. Yeah, man. They're taking all those American tax dollars and just wasting it. Oh my gosh. How dare Trump try to be more he should be more of a bastard, right? Like, let them just take all of your tax dollars that you work for and just, collect it.
So I believe they're at a point now, I'm going to meet with President Zelensky later today. I believe they're at a point now where they can come together and get a deal done. And if they don't, they're stupid. That goes for both of them. And I know they're not stupid, but if they don't get this done, they are stupid. So I don't want to insult anyone, but you got to get this deal done. Too many people are dying. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Not worth it. All right, y'all. We're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're notified the next time we are live. I love you. The Lord loves you. Your family loves you. And whether you're Democrat, Republic, a centrist, it doesn't matter. Just try to be a good person and get along with everybody. Everyone has different views. That's what makes them special and incredible. And it makes the conversation good too, I have friends who are Republicans, who are Democrats. It's always good to just try to understand people from their point of view and try to make the world a better place and try not to divide. A lot of this media stuff, they always want to divide and you forget, oh, I'm a human being, You got a mom, you got a dad. And if you don't anymore, you had one at one point in time and they loved you and you can love other people like they loved you. And, yeah, if people are just drinking all that haterade and spewing it on you, just let it roll off the back of your back like that water does off a duck's back. That water just drops off the duck's feathers. So I love you. The Lord loves you. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications.